The art of the prototype.
Hi everyone, my name is Doug, and my talk today is going to be about building prototypes and how they can help you build better products. I'll show you some of the things that I do when I begin work on a brand new product, because building products is not easy. But first, a little bit about me. I studied computer science at the University of Michigan out in Ann Arbor. I founded a company in 2014 and recently moved to Portland with my brother Michael. And I'm really excited to be here to share some of my knowledge with you. Invest in prototypes. What do I mean when I say invest? Investing in a prototype is so important because prototypes are so cheap and you can discard them if they're no longer useful to what you're talking about. And if we break it down, you want to put your resources, your time, your energy, your money into something in hopes of getting a return at a later date. And that something is called a prototype. And I argue that the more prototypes you create, the better off your product will be. So what's a prototype? A prototype is a schematic of a plan or a mock idea that's usually interactive in nature. And again, the more prototypes you create, the better off your product will be. So why prototype? Prototyping enables flexibility. It doesn't lock you into a single path if you were to invest in software first, for example. Because investing in software first would really be difficult for your product. I often hear this phrase a lot, that I need a developer or a dev shop to build my app or product. But this can cost you anywhere from $25,000 or $250,000 depending on the scope of work. I found investing in software first is almost always a costly mistake because there are all the things that could go wrong with your finished product. Your technology stack could change, your business model could change, your UI UX could change, your idea itself might even change. So you have that next big idea. How do you build a prototype and what are the steps you need to do? I've come up with 5 steps that I do when I build my prototypes. You want to plan it, wireframe it, digitize it, make it interactive, and finally iterate and improve upon it with feedback. So step 1 is the plan. You want to brainstorm everything you can about your idea. Then you want to gather some research. See if there are other products out there that have tried to tackle the same problem. And you want to archive and save all of your work for safekeeping. So step 2 is wireframing your idea. This was one of my first wireframes I created back in June of 2013. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just get something on paper. And you can use pencil, pen, paper, whiteboard, whatever works for you. You want to take your hand-drawn wireframes in step 3 and you want to digitize it. I wouldn't add color at this stage. Do not make it complicated. Just get it into computer software. I've used tools like Apple Keynote, Adobe XD, and Sketch. So let's talk about screen sizes. We all have so many screens in today's day and age. I recommend starting whatever works for you. If you want to start with mobile, desktop, I usually start with desktop, but it really depends upon the prototype that you're making. So step 4 is taking that digitized wireframe and making it interactive. At this stage, you want to give the illusion of a working product. You want to connect the dots and add features like search or account logins, but all without investing a dime in software. And finally, you want to iterate and get feedback. At this stage, you want to really discover your customer. So I recommend a tool like Google Forms, which you can gather and analyze the data, but go to a coffee shop and have people actually use your prototype and really listen. But make sure you ask open-ended questions. As a human, we're great at hiding what we're really thinking. Make sure that you ask an open-ended question like, how did you feel when using your product? Or what did you mean when you did that, when you pressed that button? So in summary, there are 5 steps to building a prototype. You want to plan it, brainstorm, research. You want to wireframe it with hand-drawn pencil and paper. You want to digitize that wireframe. You want to make it interactive and give the illusion of a working product. And so lastly, I'll follow up with some few pro tips. Start with pencil and paper. It's always a good start. Find a good spot like a coffee shop that inspires you. Archive and save everything. You never know when you'll need inspiration the most. And so in closing, invest in prototypes. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, you can build them, and you can discard them if they no longer apply. It allows you to be flexible and not locked into a single path. So thanks so much. I'm happy to talk about your prototypes and products offline. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doug. Thank you.